Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
In 10 of the most expensive mistakes in modern history. Let's be honest, we all hate making mistakes, especially when there are thousands, millions, or even billions of dollars on the line. Even the most trivial of mistakes can make you pretty darn frustrated. So imagine the horror of being the dummy behind some of the world's most expensive mistakes in history. Yeah, I'd rather just bury my head 6 feet deep in the sand. With that being said, let's take a look at 10 of the biggest mistakes that made millions of people question, what the heck are they doing? Number 8. The Hateful Eight guitar, $40,000. Quentin Tarantino's 2015 western, The Hateful Eight, follows a bounty hunter played by Kurt Russell, as he escorts a criminal played by Jennifer Jason Leigh through a wintry Wyoming landscape. On his way to collect his prize money for her capture, they meet up with a variety of shady characters. Unfortunately, there was a very expensive blooper on set. In a scene where Russell takes a guitar from Jason Leigh and smashes it, he accidentally smashed a 150-year-old Martin guitar instead of a balsa wood prop. What's even funnier is that Jennifer Jason Leigh looks quite shocked at the accident, and you can tell her reaction is not a part of the acting. The guitar was on loan from Martin Guitars and was worth $40,000. The company was so disappointed that they no longer loan out guitars from their collection for filming. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it, it really works. Number 7. Millennium Bridge. Before it was unveiled to the public, the Millennium Bridge across the River Thames in London was hailed as a pure expression of engineering structure and an absolute statement of our capabilities at the beginning of the 21st century. Unfortunately for the people behind the project, the Millennium Bridge got off to a shaky start. When the bridge opened in 2000, the first pedestrians to cross felt it swaying beneath their feet. Engineers had designed the bridge to withstand wind and weight, but not the simple motion of a crowd of humans walking across. The mistake took $6.3 million and 2 years to fix. Number 6. The Heavy Submarine. Submarines are an engineering marvel in themselves, as they are able to float and navigate through the ocean despite a ton of weight. In 2013, the Isaac Peral was set to be the first in a new class of diesel-electric submarines when the discovery of an expensive mistake led to a big setback. It turned out that the submarine was 70 tons overweight because an engineer had put a decimal point in the wrong place early in the planning process. To offset the weight of the enormous submarine, engineers were forced to make it even longer. By adding about 6 meters of length to the sub's hull, they were able to make it more buoyant. Unfortunately, the mistake still cost them $11.4 million. Number 5. Trains too wide for the rail. Yet another engineering disaster of epic proportion, this time costing the French government millions of dollars. Yeah, that's where all that taxpayer money is going to, paying royal screw jobs. In 2014, French train operator SNCF ordered 2,000 new trains for their lines in Paris and throughout France. Unfortunately, the trains were too wide to fit into the platforms at some of the older stations in France. The mistake arose because SNCF officials had measured stations built 30 years ago, but failed to account for stations that had been built 50 or more years prior when trains were much thinner. To correct the error, construction was needed to widen the platforms at over 1,000 train stations in France. All told, fixing the mistake cost $68.4 million. Number 4. Mars Climate Orbiter lost. The Mars Climate Orbiter was a NASA space probe launched in 1998. I remember like it was yesterday. All the excitement surrounding how invaluable the orbiter would be in collecting information regarding the red planet. It was supposed to orbit Mars and study the red planet's atmosphere and surface, but due to a miscommunication, it was lost in space forever. NASA had 2 teams working on the project, a spacecraft team in Colorado and a mission navigation team in California. One team worked with navigation data in metric units, while the other team was working with imperial units. They failed to communicate the different units while trying to get the craft into Mars orbit, and ultimately lost the spacecraft, which cost $193.1 million. And now we've come to the best pick of the day. While bridges are everywhere, they are definitely some of the most difficult structures to build and perfect. In fact, it takes a lot of engineering precision and manpower to ensure a bridge remains rigid even in the harshest of conditions. So next time you see an engineer, why not give them a salute, huh? Number 3. Challenger Explosion. On January 28, 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger was scheduled to take off. It was supposed to be the Challenger's last flight, and the mission included scientific objectives and satellite deployments. Unfortunately, unpredicted temperatures caused a tragic malfunction. Frosty temperatures the night before the launch caused rubber parts in the rocket boosters to freeze. The frozen parts didn't seal the way they were supposed to, and the Challenger exploded, killing the 7 astronauts on board. The space shuttle had never been tested at temperatures that cold, and sadly, this oversight led to 7 lives and billions of dollars being lost. Did you know that the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico is considered the worst oil spill in history? 210 million gallons of oil were spilled following an explosion on the drilling rig. Oil threatened marine and wildlife habitats from Louisiana to Florida, and the spill continued for months as workers attempted time and time again to stop the flow of oil. Number 2. Mercedes-Benz buys Chrysler. Despite being around for hundreds of years, even established automobile brands such as Mercedes-Benz can screw up so big that it costs them billions of dollars. And that's what happened to the company in the late 90s. I mean, whoever came up with the idea of this merger must have been high on all sorts of illegal substances. Mercedes-Benz's parent company, Daimler-Benz, merged with Chrysler in 1998, intent on transforming the two companies into one international automobile powerhouse known as Daimler-Chrysler. With one branch in the US and the other in Europe, the company hoped to dominate the car market on both continents. Daimler-Benz paid $37 billion for Chrysler, but unfortunately the deal didn't stand the test of time. Due to culture clashes and differences in quality, the two companies struggled to see eye to eye. Then, in the 2000s, a recession drove Chrysler sales into the gutter. Daimler-Benz ultimately sold Chrysler in 2007 for $7 billion to Cerberus Capital Management Firm, a company whose specialty is restructuring failing corporations. And number 1, the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. This has to be the biggest screw job in modern history. Not only did it cost billions of dollars, but took the lives of millions of marine animals of different species. Yes, the Deepwater Horizon spill in the Gulf of Mexico is considered the worst oil spill in history. 210 million gallons of oil were spilled following an explosion on the drilling rig. Oil threatened marine and wildlife habitats from Louisiana all the way down to Florida, and the spill continued for months on end as those workers attempted time and time again to stop that flow of oil. Ultimately, an investigation revealed that BP, the British company responsible for the Deepwater Horizon rigger, had cut corners on safety with disastrous effects. Cutting corners turned out to be very costly for BP. Cleaning up after the disaster and paying the associated fines and legal fees has stuck the company with a $61 billion bill. With that being said, we've come to the end of the video. So have you witnessed any of these disasters or other major engineering mistakes? And did you do any proactive measures to highlight them in your area? Let us know in the comments section down below. Want more videos that will exist until the end of time? Click on any of the videos that you see on the screen. As always, thanks for watching.